certainly. I'm sure by the end of this race, our runners will not be liking the computer that created the seed. This tends to be how it goes.
And we're off.
Yeah, we've got a solid mix of starting at Link's house versus starting at the Sanctuary. Do get several map checks so we know that everything in the light world is a regular old crystal.
Uncle's got a blue mail.
Yeah, nice change of clothes. That'll be nice to have early game. Not a huge need, but better to have that than not at all. And we have Stogie Town taking care of a Houlihan run, getting a nice 225 for their efforts.
Red Rupee and Thieves' Cave.
Yeah, good amount of money so far, but not much in the way of items, and certainly not much in the way of progression. Stogie spotting more money over on the Hylia Island. Don't expect anyone to go back there anytime soon. And we've got a full heart container over where the mushroom spot normally is. Just now starting to get runners moving towards Kakariko, which is a little surprising to me, but again, there's lots of different routes when you come to open mode.
Looks like Stogie's going and checking the
Yep, get our sunken treasure and our dam chest. And that's some good sunken treasure. That's a sword.
Oh, showing the seed showing Stogie a fair bit of love.
And Blind's Hot. That's a hook shot. So now both of those routes are offering up some consistent offense.
And money up in the race game, it looks like.
Yeah, there's been a fair amount of money drops, but they've all been small ones. So this isn't a very rich seed yet, and not really one worth trying to sneak your way to Zora, if you were so inclined.
We've got Glove in Mini Moldorm Cave.
Yep, and a bottle over in the well. That glove is probably going to be a little more useful, but depends on what Sick Kid has. That mirror in the well, though, or the ice rod in the chicken coop. Those are some items.
Those are some items just about everybody's going to want.
Now we say that, we don't know for sure if Turtle Rock is required or not yet, so that ice rod might be useless. But if it is useful, then hey, good to have it now. That's one of those items that can be in quite a few places. Some nice synchronization from Boss Godfrey and Chelsea Lynn. Both visiting sick kid, just getting a piece of heart each.
Yep, just a broken-hearted kid there.
Ardu Walsh showing off a little bit of that block erasing glitch that you can do if you have the mirror. It's one of those 1.0 glitches that we allow people to abuse because they're not that major and they're kind of fun. And they lead to flippers. They don't actually lead to flippers, but...
Stogie picks up a armor upgrade in Back of Escape.
So that's going to be some pretty early red mail for everybody. Because there's really no reason not to go visit the Back of Escape at some point soon. Oftentimes if the red mail is just sitting out in the open, runners won't bother, but can't really avoid it this time. And Meyer is our green pendant. I'm guessing the old man knows a thing or two about the Dark World, given he has the Moon Pearl right in his closet, hidden away. Now Walsh is going to give us a look at the rescue sequence. Again, this was open mode, so runners didn't have to do it to begin with. But it's an easy thing to forget when you're doing open mode, so getting it out of the way once you have some reliable offense, pretty good idea. And there's the other glove. So yeah, by the time we get through just this first, circle of checks, the stuff that you can do right out of the gate, our runners are going to be looking at red mail, master sword, titan's mitts, and a hookshot, and flippers. This seed could turn terrible pretty quickly with all of that opportunity. Walsh making some amusing use of the ice beam. You got it, might as well flaunt it. Oh, it saves the bomb. So I guess that also means we know what our stun prize is, or at least our ice prize. Walsh gonna go for the sewers chest despite not having a lamp, so we're gonna get to see a bit of dark room action, which I guess seeing is the wrong term for it.
So we may not know exactly what he ends up finding in that dark room, but we'll find out eventually.
That is true. Not all items will actually show up in a dark room when you pick them up. Some will, but many of them won't. A key will. So when all is said and done, again, these runners are going to have Moon Pearl, they're going to have Titan's Mitts, they're going to have Dark World access. They just have to finish, covering each other's tracks. And that will open up the world quite a bit.
And with a Master Sword and Red Mail already, they're going to have quite a bit of combat to go wherever they're going.
Yeah, absolutely. That red mail in the Dark World is a literal lifesaver at times, considering our runners are only on about 5 or 6 hearts at the moment.
That, and you feel practically invincible in the light world.
And Chelsea's going to head up to the waterfall where Boss Godfrey already is, get some ether and a piece of heart. Boss Godfrey can check the Zora ledge, but well short of enough money to speak with the big fish himself. Probably gonna go for that ledge anyway. That powder could be very important, or at least very handy.
That'll unlock one check, and also a lot of fairies.
Yep, I find myself using it more for the fairies and the item check often, but again, that one location could block anything else. Powder's like a fetch quest item that also has other uses. So right now, Stogie is the only one who could go to the Dark World, if they so chose. Other runners need... Well, all our other runners need the second glove, and 2 of them still have to grab that pearl.
If memory serves, Walsh is going to get it here.
Memory does indeed serve. I'm just interested in seeing who actually decides to go first. Because right now, you can get into Eastern and do the front bit, and dungeon-wise, that's all. Stogie, though, going to take another dark room, this time more of a dark cave, and go rescue the old man. Again,
There's a lot up there, even if it's not in logic.
Exactly, the game logic will never expect you to do a dark room, but if you want to, go right ahead. And it looks like Stogie took care of it nice and quick. Walsh finally giving us a look at the lumberjack ledge. Just a 5 rupee, so no need for an Aga visit on this seed. We've got our Dark World access. Aga's not hiding anything. It's all good. Loads of money up in Spec Rock. Stogie's gonna go for it. That will get them to Zora money. And of course, there is also a hint there that may or may not be useful. It wasn't useful. The hint system is guaranteed to generate a few valuable hints. I believe it's guaranteed to have one involving the boots. But it can have a fair number of just joke troll hints. Ooh, Walsh getting a bit of the old cabbage in the face. And there's our Dark World map check. We've got Pod and Thieves Town as pendants, T-Rock and Ice as our 5/6, and we already knew Meyer was our green pendant.
Then we're definitely going to need that fire up.
Oh, very much so. And it's a good thing we have that ice rod already. Paradox Cave not offering a whole lot quite yet. No, just a fair bit of love. And Chelsea's making the Hera play. Boss Godfrey right behind them. Again, everything up here on Death Mountain right now is technically out of logic. Oh, we do get half magic in the Super Bunny Cave. Generally speaking, not a required item. There's weird edge cases where it might be. But another nice utility to have.
I know I always like to see it. But then there's a few rooms I'd rather just bombos and be done with.
Certainly plenty of those in Ice Palace. And we did see that Turtle Rock is opened by the Ether Medallion, which our runners have already spotted. So that's a little bit easier to get to.
Hookshot Cave doesn't look like it yielded much for Stoke. He's gonna take a trip through the spiral while Chelsea fights.
And with that tempered sword they're finding in Tower of Hera, it's very much blink and you miss it.
There was a boss here. It's gone.
There was a Chelsea at the boss room. They're gone now. Going back to check the hint, I suppose. Now, I guess we'll see, but I don't know if that respawns Moldorm or not. Oh, I guess not. So it's starting to look like Stogie might be our first into the Dark World. Heading towards the village portal.
There was a few dips in up at Death Mountain, but yeah, this is our first real serious look at the Dark.
Yeah, Dark Death Mountain is pretty isolated.
And Stogie's heading into Thieves.
Yep, it is a pendant, but it is also one of the quicker Dark World dungeons. And the fact that they're only on Fighter's Sword doesn't really matter when it comes to the boss. It's blind. You can kill him with anything. Almost anything. Meanwhile, Walsh is taking the Skull Woods route. Getting the 10-pack of bombs that is added in for standard mode, and getting a Cane of Samaria, which is in every version of this game. You get a peek at Bumper Ledge. It's a shovel. That could be of interest, or it could be useless.
Well, if they start running out of places to look, they know where to find a fetch quest.
Absolutely, you'd never want to be that desperate, but Rando Seeds can do that to you. Stogie did make that dip into Thieves Town, but ducked out. Looks like Walsh is setting up to make that same play. And just a heart container from the digging game.
At least it was only 8 dig.
Yeah, nice and quick. For chat asking where the myths were, yes, it was Escape, and the other one I believe was Mini Moldorm Cave.
Yep.
And Boss Godfrey finally picking up the pearl. Let's see what our dwarven friends are making today. Just a little love. Maybe not the best framing for that, but okay. And Stogie's just going to commit to the purple chest run. Do occasionally see runners avoid this, hoping to get a hint about the chest, know if it's worth the time, but Stogie's just going to go for it, route it in with the other checks.
At least there's a few checks to make along this path. And he gets a Fisher-Price shield.
Yeah, you know, you gotta stay safe.
Those powered-up shields can be really helpful in some rooms.
Oh, absolutely. And depending on, various details, the mirror shield can even be logically required. Although our runners are finding the Cane of Burna, so that will not be the case. But you have to have some form of invulnerability or the mirror shield to logically do the laser bridge in Turtle Rock. And just some arrows from the purple chest, unfortunately.
Chelsea picking up her half magic.
We're finally getting a peek at Agina. See what he's got hidden in the cave. Another piece of heart.
Real healthy seed.
Yeah, it's a little surprising. I'm really expecting something to go awry towards the end. It's been too nice. Now, I suspect Stogie is about to go give the Hype Cave a visit. It's the logical endpoint on this route, and hopefully it'll actually be Hype. Meanwhile, Boss Godfrey is going to the back of Thieves Town, which I believe is further than any of our runners have dipped thus far. Three bombs, 10 arrows, 100 rupees, and a heart. Not exactly a hype cave today. And we know a unique item is in Turtle Rock. Of course, at this stage in the run, there are a lot of unique items left to be found.
With at least 3 of them required.
Yep, the fire rod, the hammer, and the bow. The lamp is logically required, but our runners have shown that they don't necessarily need it. There are tricky dark rooms, but maybe they can do those too.
And then there's 4 maybes. 3 maybes. We know where the ether is.
Yeah, so if I saw that hint and had the Cane of Samaria, I would be kind of tempted to head up there. Well, as soon as I got the hammer, which is on the pyramid.
And Stogie says it's hammer time.
Now, if you didn't notice earlier, the way Stogie was able to get over here was by using the flippers. You're able to swim into the lake or into this river and get on over on the east side. It's not a technique you have to do very often, though. But there is a way to get over there without the hammer and without doing the Agaphite.
Looks like he's headed up to go and see a grumpy fish.
A grumpy fish or two with that mirror.
Got the money for Zora, so... And Walsh is hitting the Swamp Palace.
Yep, it's a crystal. They're not yet equipped to do it. They have to go get that hammer. But logically, it's pretty close in the sequence. So a bit of a brave dip, but I think we'll be seeing runners come back to Swamp Palace pretty soon. And what do we have over at our life lesson, our grumpy fish, our king of Zoras? A 10% return on investment. I agree with that bomb, Stogie. I agree with that bomb. So we have Walsh also making the move to the east side of Dark World after this quick hobo visit. Chelsea going to see what's above the pose. Silver arrows are above the pose. Nice thing to find.
Definitely makes Ganon a lot simpler.
Yeah, Silverless Ganon is certainly in that list of things that if you're doing randomizer runs, you want to know how to do, and you never want to have to actually do it. It's a bit precise and just takes a while.
Stogie Town, Fury slashing that hint tile there.
Yes, there is some cash in Ganon's tower. The villainous usurper of Hyrule has stolen the kingdom's treasure. Surprise! Also, Walsh has a B for some reason. Anyway, we are now getting a more thorough dive into Swamp Palace. We haven't seen any hints about the left side of Swamp, so we don't know for sure if it's valuable or not. But I will say, for all the items that our runners have gotten so early in the run, this is kind of the logical funnel. And they could go up to Turtle Rock, but without the lamp or the flute, that's technically not in logic.
And of course, without the fire rod, they can't clear it.
That is very true. It would be a hazardous dip, but if the first chest is nice, you can do a good amount of it. And then with Pod, if it's bow locked, you're out of luck, but otherwise there's a decent amount to check there too. But as far as completion goes, Stogie is in the one spot. Well, I think Chelsea is going to set up a potion glitch and head to the bowlock side of Pod regardless. And Stogie just finds the big key over on the left side. We don't know if that's useful at all. Ah, Chelsea didn't quite get the potion glitch set up. It's certainly not the hardest trick, and not even the hardest trick in Pod, but it's not exactly free.
Stogie with a few frustration pumps out of finding just a net in the big chest.
Well, you know what? You combine that with a couple bottles that our runners have been finding, and okay, you have a fairy factory going. You have a little more health and safety, as if our runners need it.
And they have the powder, so they can make fairies.
But so far they don't really have much value out of swamp other than just crystal progression. We're not finding any essential items. Of course, we joke and talk down about the net. If you're playing swordless mode, that's actually a wonderful find.
It will let you kill Aga.
Chelsea also not having much luck finding anything in pod. Now heading over to do some dark rooms. Still whipping out the ice rod to take care of Argus. That'll be their first crystal. Oh, and Chelsea's going to give us a hammer yump. When I was saying earlier about that bottle glitch not being the trickiest trick in pod, that's because this is. But first try every time. Chad asking if there was anything good in Thievestown. Not to my recollection. Again, our runners have been finding some okay stuff, but nothing that is really progression. And Chelsea finds the final sword. So that's all 4 swords.
She is a lean, mean, boss-mashing machine.
And there's a fire rod. See, that powder was useful. That was also close to the last logical spot that our runners could have checked for progression. But that gives them the back of Skull Woods, and now they could go clear Turtle Rock if they want to break sequence for that. And they could go do Ice Palace.
And that does leave only one item that's definitely required for Stogie to be in Golden mode.
Yep, once they get the Cane of Samaria in Skull Woods, once they do that sweep, they will just officially need a bow. Now, they might need a different medallion, and we might end up needing a flute to get there, or whatever. And again, you're supposed to have the lamp no matter what. But you can get by with just that cane and just that bow.
Might also maybe need boots.
Maybe. Between Desert being a crystal and Ganon's Tower being Ganon's Tower, there are at least 2 chances for a boots required seed, just in dungeons. That's 1 crystal for Walsh as well. Boss Godfrey at 2 because of that Hera sequence break. And Stogie burns the moth. Nice and easy. Gets a map for it. But that crystal is the important part. Now, since Stogie doesn't have the Canis Mario, I'm going to assume they haven't done any of the Skullwoods checks at all. So it's going to take a little bit of time to sweep through that. Walsh and Chelsea have done those checks. And no books, so we don't get to see what's on pedestal just yet.
Rather a nightmare scenario comes to me. Vamos on Ped to get into Misery Mire where the boots are.
No. Mire cannot be pedlocked, given that it's a pendant.
Alright.
There's actually very little that could logically be on pedestal and required. I would say really the boots is about it. So that's, what, a 1 in 22 chance that the boots are even required in Ganon's Tower. And then some other ridiculous number for boots being on pedestal. But it's not impossible.
Hence why I'm thinking nightmare scenarios.
And that's what we do here. We dream up nightmares and we bring them to you. Now, at this point, we don't know if anything is boots locked at all. We don't have the boots, so we can't do checks like Bonk Rocks, and we haven't been to Desert yet. Our runners actually don't have the ability to get into Desert Palace just yet. They'll need either the book or the flute for that.
Looks like Stogie's gonna head up to Hera.
Yeah, our runners are largely getting funneled over each other's steps at this point. So perhaps it is worth a mention that if you are enjoying what you're seeing, enjoying seeing how these runners play the game, it's always worth dropping them a follow. They are all naturally streaming right now, that's how we're able to see it.
Boss Godfrey on his way to go and do some bug assault.
I do kind of wonder who will be the first to head into Ice Palace, knowing that it is something we can do at this point, but it's also a place a lot of runners just don't like to go. So are they going to dip in the hopes that there is progression there and it makes sense to do, or are they going to hold it off because it's Ice Palace?
I'm thinking with the series of dungeons he's just been running one after the other, Stogie Town just might rip off the band.
You may be right. Could also point out that Ice Palace is one of the 5-6 crystals, so that might be a factor in going for it, but then so is Turtle Rock. And of course, there's always good old Spike Cave. At 14 hearts, this is basically a non-issue. And as we like to say, there's not really a good time to do Spike Cave, there's just a less bad time. Although when the reward is 10 arrows, it's always a bad time.
Red Walsh getting his curse of fire.
I actually do like that framing of the fire rod as a curse of fire. I can see the magic bat being like, I curse you with flames. And then hands like the fire rod. It's like, well, technically.
Well, I mean, every time they have him talk, that's pretty much how they have him talk.
Oh, certainly.
Nope, Stogie's headed out to Turtle Rock.
Chelsea sees the heart container from the digging game, not even going to bother. When you're at 15 hearts, it's not worth it anymore. Oh, we learned that the Pyramid Fairy is not anything of value. Stogie gave a few rage slashes, but really I would be thankful for that. And Chelsea's about to pick up the fire rod as well. That'll make 4 runners. Although, if you bring the chest in with the magic bat, does the bat curse the chest as well? Is it a 2-for-1 deal?
You know, I don't even know. We don't get to see the chest's inventory, so...
No, that's a fair point. We do find a book in Turtle Rock, so that gets us into desert. Stogie dealing with one of the more obnoxious rooms in Turtle Rock. Second only to the Chain Chomp room. Going to have to hit this chest because there's the big key. Meanwhile, Walsh and Boss Godfrey virtually synced up. I don't believe we saw any clues for Mimic Cave, so Stogie is probably going to dip in and give that a peek. Or not. Could make a liar of me yet. Or they will.
Just wanted to hit the big chest first, apparently.
Just trying to keep us on our toes, I suppose.
Oh, frustration slash there.
I'll say we've seen a lot of little expressions of frustration from Stogie, but so far they've been having a solid run. It's certainly easy when you're in any kind of race situation to feel like you're constantly behind, even when you're doing really well. And yes, everyone's going into Turtle Rock when they don't have the lamp, and thus have to do this maze in the dark.
I have a hard enough time with this maze when it's light. I couldn't do this. And Stogie makes it look easy.
Now, as far as well, first off, there's Boots. Second off, as far as the logic goes, the game expected you to double dip T-Rock, unless the lamp is somewhere already easily accessible. Actually, what am I saying? They probably should have had the lamp a while ago, given that they're sequence breaking their way up to the mountain in the first place. So I'm really wondering where it is now. But Stogie is going to be the first to give us a Tempered Sword Try and X fight. Not going to be that rough. And with all that health, Stogie can just get right in Trinex's final face. Take that fire shield and that crystal. Looks like Stogie is going to go check the tablet. And there's the bow. Well. So you know how in the previous version of Link to the Past Randomizer there was a slight glitch where the tablets were virtually guaranteed to not contain progression? That's been fixed. And so yes, at 1 hour and just under 4 minutes, Stogie Town is functionally in go mode. They've been handling dark rooms with ease, so that missing lamp is not a big deal. Those missing silvers might be a little bit of a time sink with Ganon, but if you're handling dark rooms like this, you'll handle Silverless Ganon pretty well. It looks like we have a fungus among us over in Desert Palace. And yeah, Desert was boots locked. Stogie grabs the big key, just immediately getting out of there. And we have 1, 2, 3 Trinexes down. Okay, now 3 Trinexes down. So we shall see if Walsh and Chelsea and Boss Godfrey all make that same tablet play. Looks like a yes for the first two. Yep, everyone is making that trip over, so nobody's going to be stuck by that bow for any amount of time. And so the Lamos with Fire Rod or with Silver Arrows, either way, this is going to be a fast fight for all of our runners.
At Stogie Town just makes them disappear.
I kind of get the sense Walsh and Chelsea both know that, going up to Death Mountain was a sequence break and all of that, so there should be something somewhere else, be it Skull Woods or Ice Palace. I think Chelsea is probably closer to the right track. Although it could be an Eastern. I don't know how much Eastern dip we saw from our runners. Stogie finds yet another bottle. Chelsea lining up the Ice Palace bomb jump. One of the easier ones available. Certainly one of the few that I can do with any regularity.
Yes. Easier, by no means free.
Oh, certainly. Most of the bomb jumps and most of the tricks in this game are just a tiny bit past my skill. Chelsea heads on down to take on Cold Stare. Boss Godfrey just eliminating the Armos Knights, and Stogie about to go do the same, although a little slower given the lack of silvers. And so now Boss Godfrey just has 2 crystals to go. Stogie Town down to the final crystal over in Ice Palace. Chelsea with 3 left to work on, and Walsh in the same boat. But again, all our runners are basically in go mode, so every dungeon will be at least a little quicker. So yes, with all this mystery about where the lamp is, I mean, we don't really have much way of knowing, unfortunately. Can't exactly go and ask other runners who aren't on the stream while the race is still going on. But we do have a good 20-some runners in this daily race. So surely one of them has found the lamp by now. And our runners are of, various skill levels. Some of them are, tournament veterans. Some of them just doing this for the first or second time. So if you're ever interested in participating in one of these races, don't worry about, how skilled you might feel you are. There's plenty of people, taking on these little challenges.
Walsh finishing off Ice Palace and heading up towards Eastern.
Yeah, right now everyone's just routing their dungeons in a pretty sensible order.
And 2 sets of landmos go down.
So this puts Stogie at 7 crystals, which means it's high time we do our little Ganon guessing game. There are 22 chests in Ganon's tower basement. One of them has the big key. Feel free to put your guesses in chat as to which number it's going to be. And we will stop our count once Stogie actually enters the tower proper. Tenchi, what's your go-to guess for the big key?
My go-to guess is number 7.
Yeah, the Stalfos room for most routes. I'm more partial to like the 12 range personally, right about in the middle.
And Red Walsh doing a magic trick and making the Armos Knights disappear.
And Chelsea's about to repeat the same trick for those who didn't get to catch it the first time.
Well, if you blinked, you missed it.
Well, then just don't blink. And we can now cut off the Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game. Stogie's gonna go to the left side to start with. Item number 1, Big 20. Item number 2, also Big 20. Item number 3, Big 1. Bombs for 4 and a small key for 5. Stogie's gonna dip out and head towards the right side. Another small key for 6 and some bombs for 7. And Stogie's gonna give us a tile room show. Because why not? Just a compass for number 8. Come down to the compass room for 9 through 12. The flute is number 9. Heart container for number 10. Piece of heart for number 11. And bombs for 12. So it is over on the left side.
What a wonderful place for the flute.
Well, you know, I was all prepared to say how this was going to be a fluteless seed, and I mean, technically no, but yes, this does mean that lamp is absolutely the intended progression that our runners all just skipped over somewhere. And also that lamp isn't in Misery Mire. At this point, it has to be in one of the dungeons that all of our runners did go mode on. Stogie heading to chest 14. Boss Godfrey also in Ganon's Tower, but following the same route. Possibly with less rampant bomb dropping.
Stogie Town in the rando room.
Number 18. That's a lot of chests. And so yes, congratulations to Captain Kate for getting the exact guess correct.
You get all the randomizer seeds you can eat.
I haven't tried eating them. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Disclaimer, do not actually eat the seeds.
I'm not going to tell you not to. I'm just saying I haven't done it. You know, you live your life. Boss Godfrey went full right, including the drop down to Ice Armos. So it's gonna take them a little longer to actually get to the big key. Stogie taking care of another set of landmos with another set of fire rod swipes. Ooh, Stogie gets bullied on the conveyor belt room. Yeah, we do now have everybody up in Ganon's Tower, with everybody taking that right side route. when the big key was over in Rando Room. Still taking a quick health refill before going on to Moldorm 2. Oh, Stogie going to do it? Stogie's trying to show off with a hover. Ooh, and gets punished a little bit by Moldorm for their hubris.
You thought you were just going to pass me that easily?
Yes, we do have all our runners getting pretty close to the end. We will not be mentioning the placement of any of these runners in the overall standings until at least one of them on our stream has finished. Stogie finally getting some revenge on the big bouncy worm.
Continuing to hammer it as it dies.
And even leaving a bomb at the ultimate chest for good measure.
Now for some trigonometry.
Ooh, doesn't get any of them on the second phase. That looked like a double, though. So that's a 2-0-2. And another 2 to round it out. And now it's time for the plot flute. Naturally, that duck will appear even if you haven't freed it, even if you haven't found the flute at all. It has to happen. And why the duck all of a sudden appears in the Dark World, just don't ask questions. Just kill Ganon.
And Ganon giving out a little bit of nutrition advice.
Well, you want to stay healthy when you're making the bacon. Already onto the fire bat phase. May have a slightly harder time setting up the torch glitch because again, Our runners never found the lamp. Never mind, Stogie got it first try. That glitch is going to be pretty important for Stogie, having to do this silverless. You're going to need a lot more vulnerability time on Ganon. No, unfortunately I lost count of how many swipes Stogie has done, so I don't know how close the fight is at this point. Ooh, just missed. And there you go. That is Stogie Town done. First one of our featured runners, get your GGs in chat. And that means that Stogie Town has finished 6th overall in this race, with an official time of 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 3 seconds. Our overall winner was Big Dunka with a 1:22:59. And then we have Pink Kitty Rose in second with 1:25:27. Bwayne in third, 1:26:38. Matt 7898 in fourth, 1:29:28. And Emo Saru in fifth with a 1:30:41. So even with Stogie coming 6th overall, this has been a fairly tight race among all our competitors. As you can see with our featured streamers, it's been pretty close between them. So we have 2 Ganon fights going on right now.
And of course, congratulations to all of our runners.
And I will see what we can do real quick about getting some of our runners around for a little post-run interview in a few minutes. All right, and that makes for finishes for Boss Godfrey and Artie Walsh V. Boss Godfrey hit 8th place, an official time of 1:34:18. Walsh right behind in 9th with a 1:34:26. It was indeed that close. And taking that 7th place in between Stogie and Boss Godfrey was Jixon with a time of 1:34:01.
Right. Looks like we have a visitor in our chat.
Indeed we do. We have several, in fact. So, Boss Godfrey, Artie Walsh, GG's to you both.
GG.
Yo, thanks, GG.
So yeah, you two finished just 8 seconds apart on that race. And looking at the restream, it was pretty tight overall.
What I'd like to know is, did anybody find the lamp?
We have no clue where the lamp is.
It's probably hidden in some stupid far-off location. It's probably.
I really hope it's the
who
mushroom.
knows? You know, I thought about that. I picked up the mushroom. I was like, there's no reason to do any with this.
Well, the credits listed as the witch buying drugs, so I think that's just cash. Everyone did end up go moding Eastern and Ice and Desert, so there were a couple dungeons that people just blew through. So it very well could have been in there, or perhaps the lamp doesn't exist. It's a figment of our imaginations.
Well, I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one who decided to go do Thieves Town for nothing.
It felt like none of the pendant dungeons had anything.
I know. I didn't go into Palace of Darkness, and I thought this is going to come back to bite me, and then it never did. It just worked out.
And I never really found a reason to go to Palace of Darkness because, like, so much of that dungeon is locked by the lamp, and yeah, and I guess the game just really didn't want us to go to
I guess not.
Yeah, lamp is probably the first chest in Palace of Darkness. That'd be fitting.
Well, we actually know that the lamp was not the first chest in Pod, because Chelsea did go into Pod. Chelsea? GG?
Hey, thanks. Don't remind me about Pod. That's something I want to forget about.
It was a perfectly sensible move that just didn't pan out.
I thought it was gonna be the play. And I walked in, I'm like, I really should have gone to Swamp. Which, I don't even remember. Did I even find anything in Swamp? I don't remember. Probably not.
You didn't.
Yeah, I didn't think I did.
Swamp was useless.
Oh.
Thanks
You found a
lot,
bug net if
Swamp.
you went left side.
Oh, I found it. I really liked it.
Shoutouts to bootlessly clearing of Go Modable Swamp.
I actually did a lot of dungeons with boots, which is good. It was nice. I was literally saying as I went onto Laser Bridge, I'm like, man, I really wish I had boots for this. And then I asked and I received.
Yeah, all of you ended up doing basically every dark room that one could hope to do in this seed.
Well, I mean, we didn't go to Meyer. I
Well,
think.
yes.
Did someone go to Meyer? There's no one went to
No.
Meyer. We got flute and
Well-
good old.
Doesn't this
Well,
well,
that's why-
all that DM's room?
That's why I say you could hope to do, because nobody hopes to have to dark room Meyer.
God, I love that place.
I'm just glad I didn't have to dark room Ninja Turtle room.
Ooh, yeah.
In Pod?
Yeah, I have a bad habit of getting bounced around in there.
That one's fun. If you can do that without a lamp or fire rod, it's such a good feeling. You just smash the guys with your hammer and then they're dead. It's great. Going in there with only fighter sword, that's not ideal. But if you go in with like at least master sword, it's bearable.
But at least this seed decided to just pass out clothes and swords. You got everything you ever wanted. And hearts.
Oh,
God almighty.
absolutely, yeah.
I even got butter. That was my fun little prize for going into Pod.
Getting everything but the progression you needed.
Yeah, honestly, the whole not being able to do potion glitch for whatever reason in Pod situation kind of helped me more than it hurt me, because I was gonna go into Eastern right after that, but I got so flustered after the second potion glitch didn't work that I was like, I'm just going to Swamp. I'm over this. I'm done.
Welcome to the chat, Stogie.
What's up? Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Can you hear you just fine? GG's, you were first among our featured runners tonight. Even though it looks like you were, it looked like you were frustrated quite a bit during that seed, despite
Because
being in a pretty
there
good
was
position.
nothing, dude. There was nothing in Swamp Palace. There's nothing worse than doing a full clear of Swamp Palace left side and coming out empty-handed. So as soon as I did that, I knew I was behind. I mean, I could add 7 minutes onto my time right there off the bat. So I was disappointed. Then finding Fire Rod at the Magic Bat. I mean, it worked out okay in the end. The seed went okay. Just that was at least there's nothing in Pendants. I got to do just first 4 of Thieves Town. I didn't get burned on Thieves Town, so I'm happy about that. But it was okay. It was a good run. It was fun. I can't complain.
And I guess Chad is telling us that Lamp was in double freezer room of Ice Palace, which that's just a great spot for them to hide it. Good for that.
That's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, based on progression, that makes sense. Or where the Fire Rod was, that makes complete sense.
Well,
I
I
actually didn't even find Fire Rod until after I. Oh wait, when did I find Fire Rod? After Swamp is when I.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah, same here. I almost went to Ice Palace, but I said, no, I can go do Turtle Rock. I can full clear that, and I
Oh,
know
yeah.
there's a unique item in there. I may as well
That
go
was
do
exactly.
that.
Oh wait, there was a hint for that? I missed that somewhere.
All right,
Did I
here's the
miss a hint
question:
somewhere?
Where were the silver arrows?
Graveyard
Ledge.
Yep.
I was pretty much go mode after the bow. Boots and the bow, I had no chance. I had no reason to go there, but those would have been nice.
Yeah, bow was my go mode item. I have a feeling it would be everybody's. I
Yeah.
don't know what else it would have been.
But
Like-
I picked up the boot, and I said, you know what? Tablets are back in progression. That bug's gone. Let me go check that out real quick. Maybe it'll work out.
It was just like
Yeah.
the 2 o'clock also. The 2 o'clock, the boots are on that tablet this afternoon.
Yeah, they're definitely making sure the runners know that is fixed now, and you should check some tablets.
It's still a low percent though. It's 2 possible checks out of 216. So
Oh, certainly.
pretty low,
This
but
was,
it's worth checking.
This was my first seed since they fixed that. And I was all like, you know, what are the chances? There's not gonna be anything on tablets. No way. I just need to start saying that to everything. I really want boots. I want something to be on tablet. Just need to start being a witch.
I'd like to give a shout out to the hint system, telling us that the Moon Pearls location is somewhere when we're in the Dark World. Thanks a lot
Yep.
for that.
I gotta give shout outs to Big Dunko at that hot 123. GG's on that, bro. And thanks for commentary, thanks for tracking, thanks for the restream fear. I'm going to bed. Good night.
Yeah, thank you for running. Thank you all for participating and volunteering to be on the restream.
Oh, Godfrey, this looks like this was a new personal best for a race.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty satisfied with it. I wish I hadn't gone into Thieves Town at all. I could have cut off a huge chunk of my time. But otherwise, I was frustrated at first and then happy at the end.
I mean, I don't blame you for dipping into a pen in Thieves Town. I've had progression in those way too many times.
Yeah, I just got the first 4 in Thieves Town, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna dip. Especially because I didn't have the hammer at the time, and there's nothing I hate more than getting up there and being like, just having that in the back of my mind. Especially, I usually, it depends. If I get a key, then I definitely dip out, but if I don't get a key, then it's a 50-50 on whether or not that'll be useful, so I don't know. I wasn't feeling it today.
Well, I got all the way to the attic, and I said, this is feeling like there's nothing here, but I'm too far in to just back out for no reason, and then I wish I had.
Nothing fun. Not even like a shield or something.
No, it may as well have taken bombs and rupees from me for all the good it did.
I mean, It technically took a bomb from you. You did have to use a bomb.
Yeah, that jerk.
Wait, so what hint did I miss? Where was the hint saying that, was it in... Where would it have been? I can't even think.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't the one at the front of Turtle Rock.
No, that one told me that nothing was on,
Yeah.
what's
Big
it
red
called?
bomb.
Yeah, because I was literally saying, I'm like, oh, I'm probably gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do ice, and that's where the bow's gonna be, is gonna be in Fat Fairy. And then I was like, oh, never mind.
I can't remember if that hint was the one in Swamp Palace at the very beginning or the one in Tower of Hera.
I thought I checked both Tower Hera, because I had to leave Moldorm after beating him, because I didn't check the hint, and I'm like, man, I don't want to leave that behind. Oh, man. I don't know which one I would have missed. I checked the one going up Death Mountain. Checked the one in Eastern.
Oh, it might have been
Checked
one of
both.
Thieves Town. I don't know if you.
Oh, that's
saw
probably
that
what
one.
it is.
Hmm. Yeah, it
Because
depends.
I didn't check any in Ice Palace because I was in Go mode. That's probably it. It was Thieves Town.
Yeah. The Go Mode Ice Palace is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I was super happy. I Go moded Ice Palace, technically Skullwoods, even though I already got the 2 items in there. Desert, Eastern. That was it. All in all, I'm not, horribly upset about how this went. I could have definitely played better. I had a cat interruption meltdown halfway. Like, I was in Paradox Cave. My cat got a Chipotle bag wrapped around him and was running around my bedroom and started pulling my headset off my head.
That
it
sounds
was a
extremely
disaster.
cat.
It was
Many
such
a
a
run has been
disaster.
destroyed by suddenly becoming cat percent.
That'll happen. You gotta watch out for those cats.
Yeah, he was sabotaging me. He was rooting for everyone else.
Worse than Dead Rocks, I tell ya.
Absolutely.
But
I'll
worse
tell you,
than
I-
cabbages, may I ask?
I like seeing a daily race where everybody finishes within 5 minutes of each other. That's always a kind of good feeling.
Oh yeah, our first finish was 123, I believe, and we're now at 19th place at 148. So it's pretty close together for a lot of our runners. A lot of folks are following similar paths and playing pretty well.
I can't
So overall,
see too. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say overall is actually a pretty competitive and tight one.
Yeah, I can't see too many variations of routing, honestly. Like,
Nah, I was
couple
afraid
people
that
dipping into different pendant dungeons, maybe. But overall, I think that it was not. I don't want to say linear, but it was straightforward-ish. Like, once you got everything to go into Turtle Rock, that was kind of the pivotal moment.
Yeah, you
Well-
may have had some people like Galaxy Brain into Ice Palace. Like everyone's gonna go straight to Laser Bridge, but I'm gonna stay on Logic. And but yeah, there was no like weird ice rod hunt. There was no chance that you could gamble Meyer. It was
Yeah, shoutouts to Flute being where it was.
yeah, that locked a bunch of stuff out.
That made me feel better. I'm like, all right, I don't feel like I lost time by not finding that now.
Yeah, and finding the boots on Laser Bridge because I was afraid that they were at Eastern Palace and I was just leaving them there for everybody else to find.
Yeah, I was scared it was on Zora.
I had
Did
to
anyone check
backtrack to
Zora?
Zora.
Yeah, I completely forgot to do it when I went to do Catfish. It just slipped my mind. And I guess
Yeah,
it's
it was
what
just
it did.
50 rupees. That's
Cool.
all.
Kept my
Yeah.
money.
10% cash back today only.
I guess I might have been the only one that didn't do it, looking at everyone's rupee counts. They're all the same, and then I'm like, I'm $1,000 richer.
Well, I was light on cash at the very beginning. I made all those checks because we had the flippers so early, and then I
Mhm.
had to go back because I couldn't I couldn't orphan that item. I've been burned too many times by that fish.
Oh, that's where we found powder. Was on Zora Ledge. That's right.
Yeah, I couldn't leave that behind.
I saw it. I'm like, man, that's annoying. And then I saw Shovel on Bumper Ledge. And I was like, why? Why are these all in such annoying locations?
I'm gonna have to re-watch this restream, see how everybody else synced up. Chat saying we were all in the Trinex fight at the same time. That's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, there were lots of moments of almost like exact sync across at least 2 runners. And yeah, 3 of the 4 of you were fighting Trinex simultaneously. It was very close.
Godfrey, you and Walsh were less than a second away when you opened up Turtle Rock. It was actually pretty neat to watch.
Yeah, I always like seeing stuff like that. That's pretty cool. It's better than being 20 minutes behind the rest of the runners like normal for me.
Yeah, I'm glad it was a fun, close race. That's always good to see.
Yeah, indeed. Thanks for the race, y'all, and thanks for the commentary and tracking. Yeah, this is a good time.
Yeah, thank you to both commentators and trackers and all that fun stuff. Doing good work.
Yep, the volunteers are really what make it possible.
Well, I mean, we wouldn't have anything to volunteer for if we didn't have runners to play the game. So thank you all for participating and for volunteering to be on the stream. And with that, I think it's about time that we wrap this up. Any last thoughts that you want to share?
I'm good. Thank you again to everyone who watched. Thank you to Speed Gaming.
Don't go to Swamp Palace before boots. That's my new rule.
That's a good rule.
And on that note, we'll wrap it up. We do have over on Speed Game 2, starting in just a couple of minutes, is the All Boards No Swords Zelda 1 Randomizer Tournament. That will probably get hosted by this channel, so you can hang around and watch that if you want. There's also the Zelda 1 Metroid 1 Randomizer on the main channel in about a half hour. But that will do it for us. So on behalf of Tenji, I'm Hupfin. Thank you all for watching and have a good night.
Don't forget to give the runners a look and have a nice night.